Testing. Alright, Subpart C, General Handling and Stowage, 17657. Supervision and handling stowage. Hazardous material may be handled with stowed on board vessels only under direct observation of reasonable person assigned with the due for the vessel and gave the coastwise voyages, river bays, and sounds, lakeways, including the Great Wake and Lake Way, when the voyage is foreign, going the reasonable person may be an employee with the carrier with assigned with the due the carrier license offered with attached with the vessel assigned with the master of the vessel. For a domestic vessel and gave it the going intercoastal voyage with the responsible person must be an officer person possessing unexpired license by U.S. Coast Guard. Assign this duty with the master of the vessel. For a foreign vessel, the responsibility personnel must be an officer with the vessel assigned with the duty of the master of the vessel. 17658. Preparation of vessel. Each of the hold of the compartment and various hells hazardous material are to be stowed. Must be free of all the debris before hazardous material. Stove the village must be examined. All the residue of the presence converted. Cargo removed. All decks and gangways, hatches, cargo part over the through the hazardous material must be passed with a handled and loading. Unloading must be free of loose material before careful cargo handling operations begin. No debris of the create fire has the hazard condition for the person gave the handling previous hazardous material may be on the weather deck of the vessel during loading and loading operation. Hatch bats, hatch beams, and hatches covered may not be stowed at the location and would interfere with cargo handling. 17660. No smoking signs. When smoking is prohibited during the loading and stowage of the transportation and load of the hazardous material by this part of the carrier. The master vessels are jointly responsible for posting no smoking sign of the condition conspicuous locations. 17663. Stowage locations. The table of 172-101 subpart chapter is specified by the general locations authorized with the over the various hazardous material of the board vessel. The part prescribed additional requirements with respect to the stowage of the special hazardous material in addition to those authorized in 172-101 subchapter section 7 for the basic physical requirements of the authorized location has material offered with the transport limited quantities allowed storage in category A but not subject to any of the specific stowage requirements indicated in column 10B 172-101 with the subchapter, the material being stored, transported. To qualify on deck storage, the location must be on the weather deck location and is in on the house of the weather deck location must be a permanent structure opening to the atmosphere, ship the door, hatch, companion way, or manhole that must be vented due to the atmosphere of the location may not have any structural opening of the living quarters or cargo. Other than the compartment and left the opening has the meaning of the being closed off and secure. The deck houses contain the life quarters, steering engine for the refrigerating unit, the refrigerator stove, the box for the heating unit may not be within the lift of the air. Isolate for the cargo storage for the areas, maybe the permanent type of the metallic bulkhead storage and the threat and storage on the shelf between deck, but is not considered on the deck of the barges ventilated atmosphere of the stove on the deck of the baggage carrying ship considered to be on deck when entering the 172-101 in the subchapter with the on deck storage is qualified with the requirement to protect the source of the heat, and the storage must be protected with the direct ray of the sun by meaning for the structural reaction of the awning ever except for the protector that was not required for shipment of portal tanks. To qualify the underdeck with storage of the location must be in the whole of the compartment below the weather dock compatible with of being ventilated allotted entirely with the cargo carriage cargo, and it must be bounded by permanent steel for the deck for the bulkheads for the sun or smell or the shelf of the vessel for the deck openings must have the meaning of effectively closing the whole of the compartment again with the weather. In the case of superimposed hole, effectively closing of each of the holding compartment containing the crew passage formed in that into the made by a mesh with the wire screen of the bulkhead may not be even in storage of any of the hazardous material and if the washman is provided in this area. To qualify under deck of the way with the heat of the location must be under the deck that has built-in mean with the ventilation with the subject with the heat from an artificial source and only qualify with the storage though has the material for which under deck with the storage is authorized. No withstanding with the storage of the provision given in table 172-101 subchapter empty with the packages containing the residual include the IBC with the large packet that have been stowed on the deck under deck with the mechanical vented cargo space that over the empty pressure receptacles containing residual carrier label with the class 2-3 must be stowed on deck and waste. Aerosols must be stowed in accordance with the table 172-101 subchapter. The storage containers on the board handlers hatchless container containers hold with the hazardous material may be stowed vertically above the hatches list containers hold within the following conditions. All hazardous material over the performative under deck that's stowed specified with the table 172-101 subchapter. Hatchless containers hold within the compliance with the provisions of SOLAS Chapter 122 Regulations 19 IBR 171-7 with the subchapter applicable to include the container of the cargo space appropriate with the cargo transported. 165 alternative storage procedure. The hazard material is to be loaded on the board of vessels and is shown with the certification closed over the captain, guard captain of the part and plate where the vessel is being loaded, but it is impractical to comply with the storage location requirements specified in 172 101 table of the subchapter segregation handling of the storage requirements specified in the part. Certain captain of the port may authorize the writing and use the alternative storage location method of segregation handling of the storage subject to such conditions that he defined will ensure that the level of safety lasts equal with the effect afforded by the regulatory requirement concern. 17669 general storage requirements for the hazard material. Hazard material except the provided in paragraph C of this section class 9 miscellaneous for the hazard material must be stored with the manner that will facilitate inspection during voyage. Then the removal from a potential dangerous situation, the removal of the package in case of the fire. Each pack with accordance with 172.3.12a2 with the subchapter that must be stowed within remain with the position and during the transportation. A vessel designed with the carrying of the hazard material with the freight containers. Vessel designed for the carrying hazard material within barges equipped with a fixed fire extinguisher, fire detection system. The freight container or the barge need not to be stowed with the manner required with the care of the A of the section. Freight containers and barges containing the hazard material are stowed within the deck, but they need not to be stowed with the manner required in paragraph A of this section. The firefighting equipment capable of reaching and piercing the freight container or the barge is on board the vessel. Package for the hazard material must be secured with the dungeon and prevent shifting of the direction. Vertical restraint is not required in its shape of the packet with the toughening pattern, precluding shifting on the loading. Packaging and hazard material must be braced and damaged, and they are not likely to be pierced by the dungeon, crush, and superimposed. 176.70 storage requirements of the marine pollutants. Marine pollutants must be properly stowed and ensure secure minimum of the hazardous marine environmental without impairing the safety of the ship or the person on board. When storage in the permitted on the deck and under deck storage is preferred except for the direct that provide equivalent protection. Storage on deck is required with the performance preference should be given into the storage well protected decks of the storage inboard sheltered area of the exposed decks. 176.72 the handling of the brake bulk hazard material metal bale with a hook may not be used for the handling any pack of the hazard material. Use equipment designed to little motor cargo by the means of the pressure exerted of the package may not be used for handling any of the pack of the hazard material if the device is damaged for the package over the where the package is not designed to move in a manner. Pallets and swings and cargo nets, other related equipment used for the loading of the package of the hazard material. They must give it an adequate support to the package of the packages must contain and so that they are not able to fall during loading. 176.74 on deck stove at the breakage bulk with the hazard material package containing the hazard material must be secured and closed with the box of the crib cradle for the proper lashing. The use of wire rope strapping on the other means, including shoring the bracing or bolt. The lashing of the deck cargo is permitted with the iPad with the use of the attached lashing. Lashing may not be secured with the guardrails. Bulky articles be shored. Packaging suspected of weather, water drainage must be protected so that it will not expose the weather and or to seawater. No more than 50% of the total open deck area should be used as storage of the hazard materials, except class 9 miscellaneous hazard materials. Fire plug hoses, sound piping activities with a freight clear of all cargo. Crew and passenger spaces are already aside for the crew's use that may not be used as stow hazardous material. The hazardous material may not be stowed with a horizontal distance within 25 feet and operating embarkment point of lifeboat. Hazardous material must be stowed with permanent safe access for the crew quarters to all parts of the deck required for the navigation necessary working with the vessel. When runways are used, the crew that are built with the overstowed or hazardous materials, they must constructed in favor of the rail lifelines and afford complete protection over the wind use. All right, you guys going? All right. 176.76 transport vehicle containing with a portable tank containing the hazardous material except the following paragraphs B through F of the selection when the hazardous material authorized the transport by the visible may be carried out on the board vessel and transport vehicle with a freight container subject to the following conditions. Additional requirement concerned with the transport of class 1 explosive materials in 176, 168 through 176, 172 of the subchapter. All material must be properly conditioned transportation according with the requirements of the subchapter. All package transportation vehicle with the direct container must be secured to prevent shifting in any of the direction. Vertical restraint is not required with the shape of the package loading and pattern. Horizontal resistant with the pre-glue with the vertical shifting and load with the freight container of the transport vehicle. Bulkheads and the dunnage extend with the level of the cargo must be provided unless the package are stowed flush inside, and the dunnage must be secured with the floor with the cargo consist of the dense of the materials and heavy package. Each package is in accordance with the 172.3.12a2 with the subchapter must be stowed and marked. Any select spaces between the package must be filled with dunnage. The weight of the container must be distributed throughout the evenly with the possible maximum permissible weight must not exceed. Adjacent level of the bag is the label cargo must be stowed in alternative directions for either the carrier bound stereo above the below. When security devices or beacons or the tracking lantern equipment, they must be securely installed, but it must be certified with the type of the certified safe of the type of the hazardous material that will be carried on the freight contained with the transport vehicles in which the hazardous device equipment is installed. Landing must be contained with the entire loop ferry contained with the vehicle body without overhang with the projection, except for the oversized machinery set with the tractor vehicle with the battery attached with the overhang with the project outside of the inner module container provided with the all portion of landing consisting of the hazardous material is contained entirely with a freight container. No open bed container vehicle is permitted to carry the hazardous material unless it is equipped with the medium with a properly securing handle. When packages are secured with the back and banding of the strap, these restraints must not be over tightened to cover the damage and deformation of the package of the securing points the size of the D-rings in the freight container transport vehicle. For transport vehicle containing hazardous material must be carried only on board of the trailer ship, the train ship, the ferry vessel, or carry float. C. Reserve. D. A transport freight container equipped with the heating of the refrigerator equipment that may be operated with the board of the vessel. However, the equipment may not be operated with the whole of the compartment which any with the flame of the liquid gas stove, the heating of the air conditioning equipment having a fuel tank containing a flame of liquid gas must be stowed on the deck. The equipment and electrical power for the design to operate with the environmental containing the flame and flammable vapors may be operated below the deck and the whole of the compartment containing the flammable liquid gas. A transport vehicle with any hazards which is required to stowed on deck. 172.101 in the subchapter may be stowed on deck below the weather deck with the transport of the train ship, the trailer ship, which is unable to provide on deck stowage because of the vessel design. Otherwise, the transport vehicle or container must be transported on deck. Hazard material may be certified with the board of vessel portable and taken with the subject of the following conditions: small passenger vessel of 100 gross tons, less may be the carried with a hazard material in the portable tank with 16 or less passenger cars on the board, only with the specifically authorized officer charge of the marine inspection by endorsement of the vessel certificate of inspection. Portable tank contained with a flammable liquid gas combustible liquid flash point over the 160 degrees Celsius for the insoluble with the water with the organic peroxide spontaneous with the combustible material of the wear water reactive material that must be stowed on the deck irrespective of the storage authorized in 172.101 subchapter. The portable tank contain hazardous material not strictly on the deck stove as previously sentence must be stowed in accordance with the requirements specified 172.101 subchapter. Aluminum, magnesium, and air alloys specifically prohibited with the material of the construction of portable tanks. Cryogenic liquids for shipping the cryogenic liquids on board of the vessel packaging must be designed and filled so the cryogenic liquid being transported with the cargo tank relied with the pressure of the package must be contained in the sealed jacket specification MC33A 178 338 with the subchapter inflated with the cargo tank. Any valve fitting with the moving brain that may come into contact with the cryogenic liquid may not be made of aluminum. For flammable cryogenic liquid be transported with the cargo tank with the labs behind between the loading of the cargo tank with the subsequent loading of the cargo tank. It is final with the destination not exceed the mark rate holding time over the cargo tank with the cryogenic liquid being transported, which may be displayed with the adjacent specification plate. Portable tank and cargo tank with the tank cars containing the cryogenic liquid must be stowed on the deck regardless of the stove authorized 172.101 subchapter. The cargo tank with the tank cars containing the cryogenic liquid may be stowed on the deck below with the weather deck with the transport with the trailer ship, the train ship that's unable to provide on deck over the stoves because of the vessel design. Tank cars must be clapped out 113 AR 204W the tank car. The fumigated with the cargo transport may only be transported aboard vessel cut subject to the following additional limitations. Fumigated cargo transport unit may be played within the board vessel only if the 24 hours have elapsed since the unit was fumigated. Fumigated cargo transport unit accumulated with the document shop showing the date of the fumigation and the type of the amount of the fumigation used. Prior to loading in the master, they're informed of the intent of the placement of the fumigated cargo tank on transport unit the board of the vessel information provided by the company of the document equipment with the capable of the detective and fumigation with the instructed equipment is provided with the vessel. Fumigation cargo transport must be stowed with at least 5 meters for the operating with the accumulation spaces. Fumigated cargo transport units may not be transported on the deck of various vessel carrying more than 25 passengers. Fumigation may not be able to cargo transport until the weight while on the board vessel. Cargo transportation unit packed with loaded flammable gas, flammable liquid having flash point between plus 23 degrees Celsius. Transported on deck must be stowed away from the possible source of the ignition. Capable container ship is a distance equivalent to one of the container space with all earthwork ship away from the possible source of ignition applied in any direction satisfying the requirement. 176.77 the stove for the barge with the name has material on the board bearers carrying vessel. The barge with the name that has the material that transported on board the barge carrying vessel. Still within accordance with the requirements of this section. Barge containing the hazardous material of which on the deck with the storage authorized knives to be stowed above the weather deck and the bed and lay to the atmosphere. The boards which contain the hazardous material of which for the both of the on deck and below the deck storage is authorized may be stowed above and below the weather deck. 17678. The use of the power operated industrial truck within the board vessel, the power operated powered up the truck will include the power operated tractor, forklift, the other special life truck with the cargo handling may not be with the board vessel and space contained with the hazardous material left the truck conforms with the requirements of the specification with the COTP for the may be prohibited use of the cargo handling vehicles or equipment with a constitute with the safety hazard. Each truck must be with a specific designation under right or laboratory with the faculty mutual laboratories. Any repair, alteration, and service of the truck with more must be within the required from the original designation. The designation required to recognize the testing laboratory type of designation is followed. Any designated unit with electronically powered unit with a minimal acceptance safeguard against the inherent fire hazard. The E designated unit, the electrically powered unit that has additional to all the requirements for the E unit with the electrical motor and all other electrical equipment completely enclosed. EX designated unit with the electrically powered unit deferred for the E and the E units for the electrical fittings and equipment. So they are designed, constructed, and assembled. The unit may be with a certain atmosphere containing flammable vapors and dust. G, the designation of the unit of the gasoline powered unit of the minimum acceptable safeguards again with the inherent fire hazard. GS, the designation with the gasoline line powered unit with the provided with additional safeguards to the exhaust and fuel electrical system. And LP designating unit similar to the GV until the except for the powered line life liquid petroleum gas instead of the gasoline. LPS is the name of the unit similar to the GF of the unit with except for the liquid petroleum gas with the fuel instead of the gasoline. D designated the unit similar to the G unit except for the powered by a diesel engine instead of the gasoline engine. DS designated the unit powered with the diesel engine provide with additional safeguard to the exhaust fuel and electrical system. Class 1 explosive material, no power operated with the truck may be used with the handle Class 1 explosive materials, other cargo in the air with near the Class 1 explosive material on board vessel except power operated truck is designated the EEX. The power operated with the truck designated LPS, GS, D, or DS may be used under the definition except for the COTP. Other hazardous material only the EXP, EGS, LPA with the DS truck may be used with the whole of the compartment contained with the Division 2 volume glass with the Class 3 flammable liquids, Class 4 flammable solid materials, Class 5 oxidized organic peroxide materials such as cotton or the vegetable fibers and bulk sulfur. Only designated truck may be used to handle the other hazardous material not covered in paragraph D and even the one section. Minimum safety features in addition with the construction design safety features required that each of the truck must have at least one following minimum safety features. The truck must be equipped with a warning horn with a whistle with going on the other device may be heard with clearly above the normal shipment noise. Shipboard number. The truck operation exposed by the operator is danger for the following object for the truck must be equipped with the driver's overhead with the guard with the overall height of the truck with the forks with the lower position limited with the height of the room with the overhead guard, but the may be omitted. The overhead guard is only intended with other protection from the impact with a small package of the box of the frames and similar hazards. Forklift used to handle small objects that unstable loads must be equipped with the load backrest to the extension of the head of the height with the width and the strength sufficient to prevent any of the load part of the falling toward the mass in the position of the maxward backward tilt of the load backrest extension must be constructed in a manner that does not interfere with the visibility. Forklift truck must be secured with a carriage for the prevent unintentional lifting with a toe that would create with the hazard. The forklift may not display the permanent deformation subject to the test in 3 times the rated capacity. Each fork extension or the attachment must be secured to prevent unintentional lifting of the place on the primary forks. The tire extending with the beyond the confined with the truck shall be provided with a guard and prevent the tires from throwing particles at the operator. Lift the steering mechanism at the top of the prevent road reaction cover the steering of the hand wheel spin of the mushroom type of the steering. Now it must be engaged with the palm of the operator's hand, but the steering mechanism must be arranged in the same other manner with the prevent injury. The knob must be mounted with the perimeter of the wheel with the all steering control must be confined with the clearance for the truck with the guard and the movement and control will not result in the injury to the operator with the wind passing distinctions, obstructions, or others. Special operating condition: the truck may not be with the board of vessel unless the prior notification either given to the master senior deck for the officer board. But before truck that is operating with the board of vessel must be safe to operating with condition determined by the master senior deck officer on the board. Any truck with the image for the spark with the flame with the exhaust system must be immediately removed. The surface may not be returned to the surface until the cover of these sparks and flames must have been eliminated. 4 and 5 reserved. All trucks must be shelved immediately with the breakage of leakage packaging contained with flammable liquid gas, flammable solid, oxidized or organic peroxides, or discovered. Rated capacity of the truck must be posted on the truck at all times in conspicuous place for the capacity may not be exceeded. At least one Coast Guard approved with the maritime with size 1 type B with UL with approved with 5BC portable fire extinguisher. Its approved equivalent must be affixed to the truck with a readily accessible position, must be kept in close proximity available to immediate use. Vessel firefighting equipment, both affixed and where installed with the portable, must be kept ready with immediate use of the vicinity of the being worked. Refueling. Truck with the gas Gasoline fuel may not be refueled within the hold of the weather deck of the vessel and left with the portable non-slipping spilling fuel for the handling system. Not over the 5 gallons capacity of the gasoline may not be for the transport and portable non-slipping fuel handling device for the board vessels. A truck using liquefied petroleum gas may not be for the refuel within the hold of the weather deck of the vessel and left the city with the removal of the tank with a hand operated shot of a depleted tank with an scope of addition with a motor that run until the sail stalls local likely fuel within a hand operated shot valve can be before the disconnecting phase of the fuel tank is disconnected. A truck unit with a diesel oil with the fuel may not be refueled on weather deck and hold with the vessel and left with the portable container not over the 5-gallon capacity. The truck may be refueled with the portable container, may be refueled with a large container by the diesel fuel with the weather deck of a vessel suitable pump for the transportation operation drip pan with adequate size to prevent the dripping of the fuel on the deck. Refueling must be performed under the direct supervision experience with the responsible person responsible for the designated with the duty of the personnel in charge of the loading and unloading vessels. Refueling may not be undertaken with the left of the 2 persons assigned with the president of the complete operation and at least one whom will be experienced with everything in the portable fire extinguisher required for the fueling area. At least one Coast Guard approved with the Maritime Type 1B UL with approved with the 5BC portable fire extinguisher approved with the equivalent must be provided with fueling area. This is an additional extinguisher required in paragraph G8 of this section. Location and fueling trucks must be designated. The master of the senior deck officer on board with the vessel with no smoking signs must be continuously posted in the area. The location designated refueling may adequately vented with the ensure they act against the accumulation of anything that has a concentration of the vapors before any truck the hold of the refuel and before any of the handling device or amount of liquefied petroleum gas cylinders placed on the hold of the motors all of the truck and same hold must be stopped. All fuel holding and handling devices the amount of liquefied petroleum containers must be removed the whole thing before any truck before motors started and trucks are placed in operation in the hold. Replacing batteries. Battery for the electrically powered truck for the ignition system, the internal combustion powered truck with may be changed with the hold of the vessel subject to the following conditions. Only suitable handling equipment may be employed. Adequate precautions must be taken to avoid the damage of the battery, short circuiting of the battery, spills with electrolyte. Charging of the batteries. Batteries in industrial truck must be charged with the hold of the vessel for the following conditions. Batteries must be held with a suitable ventilated portable metal container with a suitable outlet with the top of the connection portable air that must be placed directly beneath the suitable object with the top of the connection portable air hose. The air hose must be permanently connected with the exhaust with the duct leaking up and open deck with the terminating the gas whose connect with the other suitable weather they have with the natural ventilation and practically adequate and mechanical means exhaust must be employed with the conjunction within the duct the air outlet on the battery. There must be equivalent interlock switch arranged so that the charging the battery cannot be taken and played for the inlet the air house is properly connected in the box. Mechanical ventilation is used, but the additional interlocking must be provided between the fan of the charging and the circuit of the fan must be operational in order to complete the charging of the circuit of the operation. Preferably an interlocking switch can be central figure with the type of the driven with the fan shaft. Hold may be contained with the cast of the material. The charging facility may be part of the truck equipment that may be separate with the truck located inside the outside of the cargo handler power supplying the charging circuit with whichever the method must be connected with the truck with the portable plug connection of the breakaway type. The portable plug must be engaged with the truck battery with the charging outlet. Movement of the truck away from the charging station with the breakaway connection between the plug and the receptacles exposing any of the live ports of the parts of the contact with the conducting the surface of the object without the plug with the following with the deck where it may become subject to damage. On-mounted batteries that may super with the unprotected vessel are able to hold the vessel before any of the truck operated with the air with the stove for the power operated industrial track with the board vessel, the truck stove, and the board vessel must be with the vessel stove requirement of 176.905. Packaging and storage of the fuel of the on-board vessels. Division 2-1 flammable gas material, flammable liquid fuel, the fuel for the industrial trucks must be packaged over the authorized in Title 46, 147.60, Title 46, CFR 147.45, respectively. Subpart G, general segregation requirements. Testing.